out there, truly believe that I'm like a political actor or that I'm like part of, the CIA or who knows what, right? And that's, it's disorienting.
Right. I mean, the narrative, I think, was that you were more in favor of content moderation than a lot
Which
of
is
folks
so
would like.
hilarious. Which is so hilarious because anybody that's followed me for years knows my drama with the content moderators.
What is your drama with the content moderators?
Alex, I've had like 18 accounts of my accounts. I've had more banned accounts than probably anybody else in media. Like,
Right.
I
Well, even Elon banned you. Right?
Oh, sure. He suspended me. I mean, I have always said from the beginning that I believe, I do not believe that these tech companies should moderate speech. It makes me very nervous. I don't think I'm much more in favor of sort of community moderation, like the type of things you see on Reddit, where it's sort of like, here's the norms of this community, here's what we're going to agree to. I'm a big fan of things like community notes. I think it's corrosive and bad when these big tech companies come in and try to like litigate evolving stories, which is often what they're trying to do. They're trying to parse the news. And yes, there are objective facts. I just don't think that the tech companies should be the ones to determine it because they often rely on like, they rely on the government, which I don't think as a journalist we should necessarily rely on. I don't think that's a scalable policy. Thankfully in America, we have a pretty reliable government in certain ways, but like, around the world, that's not a good policy to rely on. So yeah, I mean, it's just the content moderation thing drives me crazy. And the people that say that stuff have truly never listened to me talk about it because I talk about it frequently and constantly. And my community of followers like knows about that and makes memes about it. So.
I mean, you're currently like in the middle of, I think, a bit of a war with the Threads people who won't folks search for COVID.
They won't search for, not just COVID, Alex, dozens of words. You flat out cannot search. You will not be able to review the search results. And I'm fine with them putting up a warning for certain search results. I think full-on blocking words from search, especially newsworthy terms, which is how they sort of defined it when I was talking to the comms people and going back and forth. They're like, well, these are newsworthy terms and da-da. So what? So if another war breaks out in Ukraine, we're just going to block the word Ukraine? Again, this is cutting off people from access to information. And I don't think it's up to the platforms to make those determinations of what access people should have, what information people should have access to. And I know the misinformation people, like I'm sympathetic to that. Trust me, I don't think that's a tech problem. I think it's a media literacy problem. I think there's things that tech companies could do better. But fundamentally, this is a problem with media literacy in the country. It's not, it's like that highway meme where it's like, just one more lane. That's how the content moderation people are. It's like, just ban a little bit more content moderation, and we'll have a safe platform. No.
Right. I think this perception of you, did it emerge like in the middle of the Clubhouse days? I don't know. There was a story in the Times that had the word unfettered in it. Was that you like that?
Did you actually read the sentence, by the way? Let me just read. Let's just read that sentence back. Hold on. Oh my God. You're giving me the chance to squash all my haters here, so I really appreciate it. Okay, so here's what I said, right? And tell me if you think this sounds like I'm advocating for content moderation. Clubhouse has generated debate about whether audio is the next wave of social media, moving digital connections beyond text and videos to old-fashioned voice. In thousands of chat rooms every day, Clubhouse users have conducted unfettered conversations on subjects such as astrophysics, geopolitics, queer representation in Bollywood, and even cosmic poetry. Quote, "This is a major change in how the social internet works," said Dave Morin, who founded the Social Networks Path. "I believe it's a new chapter." Clubhouse's trajectory has been rapid.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it's calling
does that sound like
content moderation
at all? In fact, doesn't that sound like I'm talking about the liberatory nature of unfettered conversations, saying that they have astrophysics, geopolitics, queer representation in Bollywood? Does it not sound like I'm advocating for that?
For sure.
So wouldn't you say that, like, I mean, can you imagine being me and like then seeing how that's misrepresented online, how infuriating it is?
Definitely. Yeah.
Drives me insane. It's like what? They just pick out one word, right? And then they try and act like, and it's like, you guys are literally saying, you are misrepresenting my views to say the exact opposite of what I've said. And they do that to me 24/7 on the internet. It drives me insane.
Yeah, I think it might have just been the product of this long I guess, yeah, there was an era where the New York Times wrote all these stories about all the bad content on social media, which did lead to a bigger crackdown and
I'm
some of the censorship that we saw. And I think that there was a target mostly on the New York Times back, and people, they probably saw that word and then just went bananas on it.
But it's like, we should be having unfettered conversations.
Right.
That's my point.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I totally agree that misinformation is a problem, and I totally agree that the tech platform should play a role in not amplifying it. But I think the way that they're doing it now is this like heavy-handed, blunt approach that just ends up censoring news content and content from LGBTQ people. Like we see time and time again that the people that suffer from these content moderation bans, it's like, I mean, look at what the YouTube stuff, right? Like it was, I think, I can't remember, I'm going to get these details wrong, but it was like a lot of like Arabic language channels were censored, around fears of after these ISIS videos were going up. So I just think that we need to have a more nuanced approach to these conversations. Right. And the way it's always framed is that we're against free speech. Are you saying that
Elon has a point?
I don't know what Elon's the most anti-free speech person ever, so he has not a leg to stand on.
Yeah.
But I agree with like the sentiment. I mean, the thing is, he's lying when he says it. It's like Trump, right? They're often lying when they say these things. But I mean, I'm a journalist. Of course, I'm for free speech. I couldn't do my job without it.